Welcome to Talking Crue, an unofficial Motley Crue podcast. I'm your host, Kevin Humphrey, where I talk all things in the world of Motley Crue. This is episode 80 this week, ranking Tommy Lee's drum solos. But first, this week in Motley news, a little bit of it. Happy anniversary to the Motley Crue album The Dirt, the soundtrack album, which was released on March the 22nd. 2019. It is 6 years old. Last week was the anniversary of the movie The Dirt. This week is the anniversary of the soundtrack album. I talk about that on episode 50. Also, John Five's in the news. He's been a busy bee, as we say here in East Tennessee, this week. He was on the TV show Good Day LA, promoting his Nights in Satan's Service Kiss Museum, as well as a guest on the Eddie Trunk on Trunk Nation on Sirius XM. Now, I did find the little clip of the Good Day LA thing, and I will post that in the comment section down below and on the Talking Crue Facebook page. Now, the little thing that he says on the Eddie Trunk show was that rehearsals start in August for the Vegas residency shows. And he also talked that Vince is in good shape right now after this surgery that he took place. Didn't really say exactly what it was, but he just says Vince will be all good. So that's good thing, good news. John Corabi and the Dead Daisies are in the news. John did an interview with Metal Portus Venus Cuba, where he talks about this past European tour, which ended a couple of weeks ago. The album Light 'Em Up, and the new blues album Looking for Trouble. He talks all about that in this interview. It's a written down interview, so you have to read it. I will post it in the comment section down below and on the Talking Crue Facebook page, so definitely check this out. It's a great interview. And that's it in Motley news this week. Like I said, a little bit of it. On a side note, I posted a poll on Twitter. I still call it Twitter or X, whichever one you want to call it, where I asked, should there be a Motley Crue channel on Sirius XM? Came back at 100% voted yes, definitely. If you're listening to Sirius XM, Motley Crue needs its own channel. The reason why I posted this is because I got to thinking there's all kinds of bands and artists who have their own channel, whether it's Tom Petty, Elvis, Bruce Springsteen, Bon Jovi has its own channel, U2 has its own channel. Why not Motley Crue? I think this is a fantastic idea. And if they get it and put it on there, I would actually subscribe. I don't even subscribe to Sirius XM. I listen to it when it comes on for free the last, few weeks of the year. So I do enjoy it, but I'm not going to pay unless there's a Motley Crue channel. Plus, I mean, think about it. All the studio albums from Motley Crue, the 2 live albums they could put on there. Plus, there's concert audio that they could throw on there. Vince's solo stuff, Tommy Lee's solo stuff, Nicky's stuff, solo stuff. Even Mick Mars' solo album, John Corabi. You got the Scream and Union and the Dead Daisies plus his solo stuff. I mean, you could almost not listen to the same song more than once in a day. Actually, probably throughout the week. So, but yeah, I mean, why not? Sirius XM, are you listening? 100% said yes. All right, so I rambled on long enough on that. So let's get into this week's episode, and that is episode 80, ranking Tommy Lee's drum solos. On this week, I'm going to continue but end with the last episode of what I'm calling the Tommy Lee series. I started it way back on episode 69, the Methods of Mayhem album review. Episode 70 was Methods of Mayhem live in Detroit, Michigan 2000 review. Episode 71 was Tommy Lee's Never a Dull Moment album review. Episode 72 was Tommy Lee, Tommyland Part 1, the book review. Episode 73 was Tommy Lee's Tommyland Part 2, the album review. Episode 74 was Tommy Lee Goes to College TV show review. Episode 75 was Rockstar Supernova TV show and album review. Episode 76 was the second Methods of Mayhem album, a public service announcement album review. Episode 77 was Tommy Lee's Andorra album review. Episode 78 was Tommy Lee The Naked Truth, a VH1 TV show review. And last week was episode 79, Tommy Lee's A&E Biography 2005 TV show review. And that leads us to the last one of the Tommy Lee series. This being the last episode of the Tommy Lee series, I thought I'd go out with a big bang, since he is my favorite drummer of all time. I haven't really talked about any of his drum solos, so I thought, let's rank them. Plus, this is basically what he's famous for on Motley Crue tours, is his drum solos. In past interviews I've seen, Tommy said he wanted to do a drum solo to keep the people right there, not to go out and go to the bathroom or get a beer or buy a t-shirt. He wanted them to stay right there. I'm going to rank from 9 different tours. Shout at the Devil tour in 83, Theater of Pain tour 85-86, Girls, Girls, Girls tour in 87, Dr. Feelgood tour in 89 and 1990, Motley Crue's 94 tour, Generation Swine tour in 1997, the Red, White, and Crue / Carnival of Sins tour 2005-2006, the tour in 2012, and the final tour in 2014 into 2015. So there's my notes. So let's get this going. I will post these drum solos except for the MC94 one in the comment section down below and on the Talking Crue Facebook page. The reason why is because there's not really a video just of his drum solo on the MC94 tour, or anywhere there's electricity tour is what they really called it. But I did watch a show, Weedsport, New York is the show that I got this from. There is a timestamp, so you can just skip it all the way to Tommy Lee's drum solo. So with that all being said, let's rank them. So coming in at number 9, Shout at the Devil tour in 83. It's a great drum solo. Fantastic crowd reaction between him and the crowd. There's smoke, there's pyro. This is kind of where it all began. I love that drum solo. Coming in at number 8 is the MC94 tour. There's great lighting. He plays and sings a little bit of the song Planet Boom, which is really cool. It's kind of back to basics kind of drum solo. He uses the big gong right behind him, which is really cool to end it. You can tell this show was scaled back, like I mentioned before. During past episodes, they had to scale it down because they were playing in theaters or amphitheaters at the time. So they had to cut down on the cost. There's a cool little lighting rig that goes along with his drum solo. It's really good, though. Coming in at number 7 is the Generation Swine 97 tour. Uses this big giant screen back behind the drum kit as it goes along with the beginning of the solo. He plays a little bit of playing along to some samples. His drumming is insane, as well as the lighting on this. He uses a second drum kit. It's actually kind of off to the side of his regular drum kit. There's this astronaut shows up, and then there's some pyro goes off, and a magic trick, which is really cool. It's very unique, and I don't think I've ever seen anybody else ever do this. So if you missed that one, definitely check this one out. Coming in at number 6 is the Red, White, and Crue / Carnival of Sins tour 2005-2006. Starts off with him playing on his regular drum kit, and then he flies to 2 different drum kits hanging from the lighting truss on each side of the stage. One of them is the metal drum kit. It has saw blades, beer kegs, etc. The other one is electronic drum kit, and he kind of flies back and forth to each side. And then when he gets to one side, there's pyro that goes off and basically knocks him off. And then there's a ton more pyro at the end. It's freaking great. Then we get to ranking number 5, The Tour, 2011 into 2013. This is his first attempt of the roller coaster. It's a big circle. His drums are attached to the circle. He's playing on, and his playing just absolutely rocks as it begins to slide back and forth until Tommy Lee's hand from the video screen grabs him and turns him completely upside down. And as he's playing, very cool images on the video screen inside the circle. He plays to some samples, tons of pyro. Then he gets a fan from the crowd and sits right behind him. And then they go around and around in circles playing to the song Roller Coaster, the Red Hot Chili Peppers version. Again, very freaking cool. Would I do this? Would I get on Tommy Lee's drum solo at this point? Probably not. I'm terrified of heights. So yeah, no, not even if it was Tommy Lee. I don't think I could do this. Alright, so coming in at number 4 is the Theater of Pain Tour 85-86. Starts off like a normal drum solo, and as it starts, it gets a little bit faster. It's flat, and then it slowly tilts until he's at a 90-degree angle. Great crowd reaction, interaction between him and the fans as well. There's pyro. This is where the madness began. So when all that started, he started thinking of other crazy stuff to do with the drum solo. Coming in at number 3 is the Girls Tour in 87. Tommy has a regular drum kit. It's kind of captured inside this like cage looking thing. It goes all the way up to the front of the stage, and then it kind of rises up a little bit. As he's playing, he goes a little bit to the left and then a little bit to the right, and then he goes to a 90-degree angle, and then he just starts flipping upside down. And then he stops upside down, and as he plays, tons of pyro, absolutely freaking fantastic. My jaw still drops at watching this. I love this one. Alright, coming in at number 2. We're at the top 2 now. Coming in at number 2 is the Dr. Feelgood Tour 89-90. He has a regular drum kit that's actually stationary on the stage. This one, he has a second drum kit that's way up in the air, way above the lighting truss. The drum kit is electric. I'm pretty sure it's electric drum kit. He's got these humongous, I'm talking humongous, 4 speakers all the way around this drum kit. And as he's up there, he has his own little lighting truss, and it goes all the way to the back of the arena as he's playing. And then it does like a little turnaround, and he plays all the way back to the stage. As he's playing, he says, "Let's have a rock and roll party." He drums to songs by Led Zeppelin. He does some song by Joe Walsh, Rocky Mountain Way, Rick Danger's Rock and Roll Hoochie Coo, AC/DC's Back in Black, Bill, I've got tongue tie, Ballroom Blitz, there we go, plus a tons more. It's absolutely freaking fantastic. Great crowd reaction. I also forgot a song. I love this song, Frankenstein. I love that song. But there's lasers. Whoever filmed this shows the lasers on the main stage. They kind of go along with the drum solo as Tommy's flying around. Big crowd reaction, and as he gets back to the main stage to get down, I've talked about this before, he had a bungee cord with a little brake lever on it, and he comes all the way back down. He gets onto the main stage. He moons the crowd. So, I mean, that's classic Tommy Lee, if you ask me. That's why it's all the way up to number 2. Now, number 1 is the final tour, 2014, 2015. He called this drum solo the Crucify, and I think it's a great name. I absolutely love this drum solo, and I've seen a ton of them. So there's some chanting, and then some smoke, and some fire goes off as his drums slowly come up. His drums are at each side is attached to a lighting truss that goes up and down and up and down all the way to the back of the arena. And as he starts playing, he's playing to some samples again, and he's flipping upside down all the way down to the other side of the arena. There's cool lighting. I think the lighting was fantastic on this drum solo. The drums light up by themselves. There's lighting under the board. I'm not really sure what to call that. Underneath the drums, they light up as well. And then he goes all the way back to the back of the arena, says, "What's up?" and all that stuff. Great crowd reaction and interaction between the fans and Tommy. And then he goes back, and this time he's flipping the other way around and back up and down, up and down. It's absolutely freaking fantastic. Some of the songs, Rage Against the Machine, Testify, I love that song. The Beastie Boys song, Sabotage. Just to name a few. Bruno Mars song, I'm on Fire. I think that's the name of that song. And then when he gets back to the main stage, there's more fire, more power goes off. It's absolutely amazing. And I saw this tour on the final tour, and to see it in person was just like, oh my gosh, I can't believe he's doing this. My hands, like I said, I'm terrified of heights. So when I saw him doing all this, my hands were actually kind of sweaty. But that's just me. Alright, so that's my ranking of the Tommy Lee drum solos, and it is the last episode of the Tommy Lee series. I hope everybody enjoyed the Tommy Lee series as much as I did. Got you guys listening to a little bit of different stuff, because there is a little bit of hip-hop and rap, and yeah, it's not what I listen to 99% of the time. But because it's Tommy Lee, I do listen to it. He opens up my ears to listening to other things. Hope I turned you guys on to that stuff as well. So, that's it. For homework this week, you rank these drum solos. 1 through 9, 9 through 1, whichever way you want to do it. I want to hear from you. And that's it for this week. Next week is episode 81. Motley Crue Millennium Collection album review. It's a Motley Crue album that's not even on Motley.com. I'll explain more about that next week. If you know anybody that's a Motley Crue fan, likes to talk about Motley Crue, hear about Motley Crue, send them this way. Hit that share button, copy the link, and send it to them. Tell them to go on Google, Firefox, YouTube, Facebook, Spotify, and type in Talking Crue. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button yourself. Give me a thumbs up. I greatly appreciate it, and it helps out the podcast a whole lot. I want to thank all my new subscribers, read through YouTube, Facebook, and Spotify. Welcome aboard. Glad to have you. Just getting going in this groove now. And that's it. I will see you guys next Friday. And you just took a ride on the wild side.